What's up, folks? Welcome to Mindset Tabletop. I'm Matt McCann. Dice Tower 2025 is wrapped. I'm back home here in Redondo Beach, California, and it was a great experience. Once again, I mean, it's always worth it. It is so amazing to go to Dice Tower West. I highly recommend it to anybody who hasn't been. Let me start off with recapping day 4, which really wasn't much. I started off by playing a new game. I played 2 new games. Zuvadis was the first one. If you haven't played this is a remake of a game called Quo Vadis, which is basically about politics. So the whole thing is political. You usually have to get your opponents to vote for you to move forward on this track. And then when the track is finally full, you score everything up and everybody gets their points. So you decide who wins. It is this game is nightmare fuel. Just the idea of your opponents being the reason you move forward. You have a couple of tokens that are special abilities. You can offer those up for use for your opponents as compensation for voting you forward. You can make all kinds of deals. You can basically do anything that you want. And the whole game, you're politically manipulating your opponents and trying to win the game that way. So it's really dependent on your opponents as to whether you win or not. Absolute torture, nightmare fuel of a game. I don't know if I'd want to play it again, but I can see why other people do like it. There's a lot of redeeming qualities to that game. It's very interesting and rowdy and funny, and there's a lot going on. So it's a really cool game. So Zuvadis, check it out if that sounds interesting to you. For me, it was a nightmare. But if you have one of those groups that's very collaborative, very open, likes to talk a lot, and like to kind of mess with each other's heads and bargain and stuff like that, definitely recommend trying that game. The next game that I played was also new to me. It was Furnace. It's something I've been looking forward to playing for a while. It's an engine building game. It's a pretty quick engine building game, similar to Fantastic Factories that I played earlier in the week. Didn't really speak to me, though. I didn't like Furnace very much. It's a decent game. It just doesn't give you, for the style of game that it is, it's not as rewarding as it should be. It's not as punchy as it should be. It's not as quick as it should be. I actually do like the token bidding aspect. You have a bunch of tokens that are 1 through 4, and the 4 one's the biggest, and you put whatever, you put the 4 on whatever you want, the card that you want to get. But if you bid on a card that you don't get, you can bid one of your lower numbers, and if you don't get the card, then you get the benefit that's at the top of the card. That's how you get your resources that you use to build your other stuff. So you're building up a factory and stuff like that, but it's not punchy, and it's not as rewarding as Fantastic Factories. And I'd put them in the same genre. So between those games, I would definitely go for Fantastic Factories. That's the one that I would recommend. I didn't play anything after that. Talked to my friends, hung out for a little bit, and then just the next day, I got up, checked out, said my goodbyes to everybody, and then I hit the road. The drive home was, of course, nuts. Of course, typical of any drive to or from Vegas. In the middle of the desert where there's nothing, there was a dead stop traffic. Turned out somebody was parked off to the side of the road. And people wanted to looky-loo that so much that there was about an hour and a half backup just so people could look at a parked car off the side of the road. I just want to say to people, if you see a car off to the side of the road, keep driving. I mean, it's not a cue to stop. It's not a red light. There's not going to be anything interesting there. The car is just parked there. It's a car that's parked off to the side of the road. So maybe just keep on moving. It really blows my mind how people can see a car parked on the side of the road and go, duh, and have to stop their car. It takes a certain level of brain to function like that. But, gripe aside, the trip home wasn't much more than 5.5 hours. It wasn't too bad. So I got home, and I'm looking at my haul, and I realized the haul was not much this year. I didn't really buy much. I bought nothing from the con itself, because the stuff that I was interested in I hadn't played yet. But I did take that trip to Night and Day Games because they offered a free game to everybody who was attending the convention. So I went down and I checked it out. I wanted to check it out anyway. Probably the coolest board game store I've ever been in. I mean, this store was amazing. Night and Day Games are killing it. It's really rad. It's like kind of on the other side of Vegas from where the hotel was. Really nice place. Great selection of games. The first thing that I saw that I had to get, and this was a plan before the trip, I always planned on getting this. I got the expansion to Underwater Cities here. So this game is one of my favorite games. It's one of my friend Jen's favorite games. We love playing this on the regular. I've been wanting to get this expansion for a while because we love the game and I do not want it to get stale. After tax, this was $63. That's a lot. It's not a lot for a gigantic expansion like something that comes in Orleans, like Orleans Invasion. Because there's so much content in that. It's just like ridiculous. It more than doubled the game. In this case, not so much. I think most of the expense went to the dual layer player boards, which are very, very nice, actually. I'll give you a little look at those because these are sweet. And you can see they're dual layered there, places for your cities and for your structures to go in. Now, when you're stacking the structures, it's not going to help. But these are really solid, nice boards, and you can see that they're indented, and your stuff is not going to slide around on it. Good for the tunnels, good for the cities, good for, one-level structures. And they're double-sided. This came with 8 of these, so basically it's 16 new boards that you're getting for the expansion. So that's probably where most of the money went. The rest of it was a few components and maybe 50 cards to add to this deck, and that's including from all decks in the game. So, a little pricey for what you get in the expansion. For me, it was worth it because Underwater Cities is one of my top games, and I love it. But for somebody else, it might not quite be worth it because considering the amount of components that you're getting in the pack. But I got that. I'm excited about it. I'm totally stoked. Don't get me wrong. I would do this anyway. I knew it was going to be expensive, and I was going to get it no matter what. So I'm very excited about Underwater Cities, New Discoveries. I just put everything into the expansion box because both boxes were half empty. So it worked out perfectly where I actually, literally it's the perfect amount of components for the box. So there you go. Underwater Cities, New Discoveries. Can't wait to play around with that. The free game that Night and Day Games gave us, and thank you again, Night and Day Games. What a great store. SOS Titanic. I have not learned this yet. I don't know much about it. I don't know how to play it, but I'm excited to get it on the table and see what's up. If this is the game that I saw a video about like a year ago, it looks pretty cool. I don't know if this is the exact game, though. And this is interesting because it comes with different scenarios, and the scenarios are not on different boards, but they have kind of a flip book, like what you get in the Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion. So these are the different scenarios, and they're all you just flip the page, and you're getting different things in these circles down below. So I don't know exactly how the game is played, but it looks pretty cool. Really easy to table. Not much else in the box except a couple of decks of cards. And we'll see. We'll see if that is a fun game. I'm looking forward to it. I like the theme. I like the idea of getting people off of the Titanic. That's cool. So that should be a pretty fun game. So now in the future, I'm looking to get some more shelf space. Obviously, my shelves, you can see up top here, I have all this stuff piled up top because I just don't have the shelf space. But I'm going to get some more shelves and kind of trick this out. Maybe even change around the room here. And get my games farther away from my wall heater. But I'm happy to be home, but I kind of wish the convention was longer. I never get enough games played. I never play as much as I want to play. and that's kind of a bummer. And I was having fun hanging out and playing games with my new friends, and hopefully I can get one or two of them to come to game night pretty soon, because a couple of them live in Long Beach. So I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to getting some new gamers to the table here at Mindset Tabletop, and I'm looking forward to playing more games, digging into these new acquisitions, and always looking forward to Dice Tower West next year, 2026. Can't wait. And not much else to say. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I'll have more content coming for you here in the near future. Hit a like on the video if you like what you see here. And thank you so much for your time, folks. And here's to Dice Tower West 2026.